This is the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. We have assembled the world's finest sports and trivia dorks to prove once and for all that we are just as bad at this as we were at sports. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, sports trivia for those of us who rode the pine. I'm your host, Matt. Today's game will be pitting the team of Benchwarmer Mason with guest Tim Geving versus the Benchwarmer team of Scott and JJ. Tim, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us what teams and sports are in your wheelhouse, and then after that, Mason, you can tell us what your team name is.
Hi, guys. My name's Tim Geving. I'm from Springfield, Illinois. I'm a huge Chicago fan. Anybody but the White Sox is good with me. Bulls, Cubbies. Just got 3 kids. I chase them around all the time, having fun. Just got done coaching some baseball. Had a little bottom of the 6th comeback to win the game, which is fun for the kids. Kids enjoyed it, and that's what it's about, you know. They just had a lot of fun and weren't able to, you know, shake our hats now because of the whole COVID thing. Can't really shake hands, but the other team was really nice and, you know, enjoyed it too as well. I mean, it's nice to be on our side of the comeback, but they were pretty stoked for our kids too, so pretty fun.
Mason?
Yeah, so our team name was inspired by a quote in the background of Tim's house before we started the game. So our team name is "We Got Pizza Rolls."
Life's good.
All right. All right. We got pizza rolls. I love it. I mean, is there anything better than a kid than looking in the freezer and all of a sudden seeing a big old bag of pizza rolls? I'm 43 and I still love it. So, sheesh, right? All right, cool. Then over on the other side, we got the Benchwarmer team of Scott and JJ. Guys, why don't you say hey, start with Scott and tell us what your team name is.
What's up, guys? Tim, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. This is going to be a good time. Mason, pleasure as always. It's nice to see that you're not in the gym, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm back in my normal place.
Yeah, it's going to be a good episode. All day I've been contemplating whether or not I want to purchase NHL 20 for the PS4 because I need to improve my hockey knowledge, and I feel like the best way to do that is to buy the game and just run like a bunch of franchises and get to know a bunch of players. So hopefully that you'll kind of see the fruits of that labor in like 6 months maybe if I start getting hockey questions. Right? But that's pretty much it for me. What's up with you, JJ?
So I think you can count that as a business expense, right? Once we get going, you just call it a business expense, and
it's a tax write-off.
Yeah, exactly.
Write it off.
I was not prepared for this. I didn't study at all, especially knowing that Matt wrote this game. I'm a little scared. So we just switched my 2-year-old from a crib to a bed, and so we're very anxious about how this is going to go. But yeah, our team name is Pitch Perfect.
Is there a story behind that?
I don't know, dude. I just hopped in the chat and Scott said, "Hey, this is our team name."
It's just a mutual TV show that we like, super random. There's nothing behind it.
Pitch Perfect?
No, it's just the show Pitch, but it's a perfect show, so it's perfect.
I thought you were talking about, wasn't the movies
like
called
those Anna Kendrick movies? I mean, those are fine.
Those are fantastic.
The one had the Green Bay Packers in it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I didn't like that one as much.
All right, cool. All right, well, welcome to the bench, folks. Now on to the rules. We'll be starting off with the tailgate to warm up the teams. This will be followed by 4 quarters of play with a different style of trivia in each one. The styles of quarters 1 through 3 will change from show to show, and I'll explain them as we go along. Like any good sport, we will have a halftime show after the second quarter with entertainment questions pertaining to sports. And in the fourth quarter, our teams will wager from their points accumulated to see who is today's clipboard captain, to be honored like the true benchwarmers that they are. Let's get this game underway. It is time for the tailgate, consisting of 3 warm-up questions worth 10 points apiece. Question 1. In 1994, this pitcher, known better for fighting a coach, was in the 8th inning of a perfect game and hit Reggie Saunders of the Reds, starting a melee and costing him his perfecto. The next batter got a hit, which ruined his no-hitter also.
You good to check in with that, JJ?
Yeah, we can check in.
All right, Pitch Perfect is going to go ahead and check in. Pizza Rolls, chat it out.
Well, he said fought a coach, so that makes you think Pedro and Zimmer. I think Pedro would have been with an Expo at that point in time in his career.
I mean,
that was my thought.
Yeah, that came to mind. I was thinking of pitchers that got into famous fights. That came to mind. I feel like
because this is before interleague, so it had to be it has to be another National League pitcher
right.
because he's pitching the Reds. So
Yeah, I think that's probably a good guess. I'm good with that.
okay, let's go Pedro.
All right, the pizza roll guys are checking in with Pedro Martinez. Pitch Perfect, what do you guys got?
We also checked in with Pedro Martinez, going off of the better known for fighting a coach. So we checked in with Pedro as well.
That's right. Both teams getting points here. Pedro Martinez. In 1995, Pedro had another perfect game that was broken up in the 10th inning on the road with a 1-0 lead. So poor Pedro never got his perfect game. Question 2. The 2007 New England Patriots lost their bid for perfection to the New York Giants in the Super Bowl, but they started their season on a very different note. What incident took place in the beginning of 2007 that would affect the Patriots down the road?
I think we can check in.
All right. Pitch Perfect has checked in. Pizza Rolls, go ahead and talk it out.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that came to mind was Spygate. I knew that was around the time that.
Yeah, and I know that was I think that was one of their first Super Bowls. It must have been when they handed down the punishment. That's the only thing I could think of, too. I mean, they didn't lose until they got there. And, I mean, they didn't lose anybody important as far as, Brady didn't get hurt or Gronk didn't get hurt or what have you. So, yeah, we'll check in with Spygate.
All right. Pizza Rolls checking in with Spygate. What do you guys have over Pitch Perfect?
We also said Spygate.
All right. Both teams getting points here. Belichick was fined half that year's salary, and the team was fined a first-round draft pick for Spygate, the videotaping of the Jets practice. Question number 3. Jim Joyce sucks. In 2010, he robbed this Detroit Tigers pitcher of a perfect game by calling Jason Donald safe at first when he was clearly out.
On behalf of JJ, we'll check in.
All right. Pitch Perfect is checked in. Pizza Rolls.
It's a lesser known Galarraga, I believe, right?
Yeah, that'd be a good old Armando Galarraga. I remember watching the highlights of it when I was younger, and I was just shocked by how bad of a call it was. And granted, I mean, there was no replay at the time, so you couldn't go back and change it. But yeah, it was.
I think, to be fair, some of the calls I saw tonight, I think Jim Joyce was calling the game I was coaching tonight. Yeah, we'll check in with Galarraga.
All right, the Pizza Roll fellas are going to check in with Armando Galarraga. Pitch Perfect, guys. What do you guys got?
Yeah, we also said Armando Galarraga. Still have nightmares from that, watching that. Jim Joyce and his handlebar mustache looking thing.
Yep, that's right. Armando Galarraga is the correct answer. Jim Joyce umpired for 30 years in the majors, and he has said that call haunts him to this day. Him and the Tigers and pretty much everyone in baseball that's not named Rob Manfred has said that they should reverse that call even 10 years later and make that a perfect game. But I could see the precedents and changing, and what do you change things in the past? And either way, Rob Manfred sucks more than Jim Joyce, but either way. So, all right, gentlemen. Good first game there in tailgating, getting everyone warmed. Everyone got 30 points. Fantastic. We'll head into the first quarter where our score is 30-30. And today's first quarter will be the Dean's List. For this round, there will be 3 top 10 lists where the teams will go back and forth guessing items on the list. If a team guesses incorrectly at any point in the list, the other team can attempt to finish the list out. Each team is allowed 1 mulligan to be used after an incorrect guess. Each item is worth 10 points. And we'll start off our Dean's List with number 1, and that is the top 10 most popular sports worldwide as of June 2020 per, not Ranker.com, but sportsshow.net.
Very official.
That's a thing? Like sports, that's a...
sportsshow.net. Yeah, it's just the list of they used a bunch of metrics, and the criteria that they used here, I'll list it out, is global fan base and audience, viewership on TV rights deals, popularity on the internet, presence on social media, number of professional leagues in the world, average salary of athletes in the top leagues, sponsorship deals, number of countries in which a sport is popular, biggest competition, relevancy throughout the year, gender equity, there's a bunch of things here. So But you get the idea here. These are, trust me when I say others have looked at this list, there's nothing out of the ordinary here. This is pretty standard. So again, it is the top 10 most popular sports worldwide. And because I love pizza rolls, we will start off with we got pizza rolls for number 1 on this list.
Mason, soccer. I mean, it seems like a number 1 with the bullseye.
Yeah, I can't imagine it not being there. So
right. Let's go soccer. Check in with soccer.
Yep. Soccer is number 1 on the list. Pitch Perfect. You're up.
We're going to go ahead and say basketball.
Basketball is number 3 on the list. Pizza rolls.
What do you think there, Mason?
I think the one you just sent was fine. I completely glossed over that, and I don't know why I did, but yeah, that's...
All right. How about baseball?
Baseball is number 8 on the list.
Whoa, didn't expect that.
Pitch Perfect.
We'll go ahead and say tennis.
Tennis is number 5 on the list. Back to pizza rolls.
What do you think about cricket, Mason?
That I'm good with that one. That of the ones that we had, I think that one's going to be highest on there. So
awesome. We'll check it with cricket.
Cricket is number 2 on the list. So
we get points for getting the first and second, right?
There you go. Yep. So after 5, we have spot number 4, 6, 7, and then there are 2 teams tied for 9/10. Scott appears very confident in his next answer. We are awaiting Scott's answer. Scott, what do you have?
I'm not sure where that comes from. if that's how it's coming off. We're going to go with rugby.
Rugby is one of the tied for 9/10. So, yep, that is on there. So there we go. We'll go back to pizza rolls.
This is tough.
I mean, obviously, there's still 4 on the list. It's still going to be something pretty high up there, but
I know, and it's something that we're just not thinking of, obviously, and it's not. What about this?
I tend to think that that's pretty popular worldwide. So even though it might not be necessarily a super popular sport everywhere, it's pretty predominant in some areas. So,
all right, yeah, because there's people from all over the world that play the sport, and so we're gonna go with golf. We'll check in with golf.
Golf is number 11 on the list. Oh. So the question is, do you want to use your mulligan now or wait to use it later?
Yeah, I think I'm not feeling good about what we have left. So
I agree. We were that was pretty rough. So we'll wait.
All right, we got pizza rolls is bowing out of their mulligan. That means we have 1, 2, 3, 4 slots left for Pitch Perfect to go ahead and take a stab at. JJ and Scott, go for it.
We're going back and forth on different sports listed here. I don't necessarily feel great about any of them, honestly, especially since I thought golf would be on the list.
Yeah. I mean, it's number 11, so it's close enough.
I just can't see. I don't know if I see many of these we have listed more popular worldwide than golf, It's something you can play in, most places.
Can't play in Antarctica.
You'd be surprised.
I mean, you can play indoor, I'm sure. Mini golf counts, right?
Do you think field hockey is popular everywhere or anywhere?
I mean, yeah, in middle schools.
I don't know. I mean, that could be like a European thing.
I mean, I'm fine with going with anything that we listed or hockey. Again, I mean, volleyball's not. I don't think that's a bad guess.
Yeah, the only reason I think volleyball is, like I said, because you got like beaches and indoor. I'm pretty sure they're different team sizes and stuff. You know.
Yeah. I was thinking, what about? I don't feel good about like gymnastics. Something you can pretty much do anywhere. Most countries have a gymnastics team in the Olympics. So it's done pretty much worldwide. You can do it indoors. It's weather resistant.
I would say between gymnastics and volleyball.
All right, you pick, man. It doesn't matter to me. Feel great about any of these. So.
All right. So normally, what I do, especially starting out the game, is go with your pick. But that really hasn't done me well. So.
Hasn't done me well either.
So we'll go with let's try volleyball.
Volleyball is number 6 on the list.
All right, your new strategy is working. I like it.
All right, so what numbers are left?
We have number 4, number 7, and the sport tied for 9th.
Football can't be on there, right?
I wouldn't think so.
I mean, because it's just I mean, it's the only big 4 that I don't think we talked about. So I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've got hockey, we've got swimming, we've got gymnastics, we've got some sort of combat sport.
I'm okay with any of those. Whatever you feel most confident with. You want to go with gymnastics there?
Yeah, we're gonna go with gymnastics.
All right. Gymnastics is number 22 on the list.
Ooh.
So the ones that you guys missed.
We don't want to use our mulligan.
Oh,
Thanks.
sorry. Yep. You do not want to use your mulligan.
Can I guess one? Because I know it's you're hosting that, so I'm guessing highlights in there, right? That was huge in the 70s.
No, highlights not on the list. No.
Oh, it's not? Oh.
Okay.
But the items that pretty much everything on near the top of the list here are ones that you guys already covered. Yes, hockey is on the list, but field hockey is number 4. And if you said hockey, I would have asked you to be more specific. So yeah. Number 7 is table tennis. Number 9, one mention that you guys didn't go with, is American football. So Pizza Rolls got 3 on that one, and Pitch Perfect got 4. So we'll move over to number 2 for the Dean's List round. The second Dean's List that we're working on tonight is the top 10 career stolen base leaders in Major League Baseball. And since the Pizza Roll guys started off first, we'll go ahead and give that over to Pitch Perfect to start off.
We'll go with Ricky Henderson.
Yep, Mr. Henderson is number 1 on the list. Over to Pizza Rolls.
Mason, Willie Mays Hayes, he's got gloves. I mean, he's got a different pair for every stolen base he's going to take. Between that and the push-ups that he takes whenever he's hitting the pop fly. How about Lou Brock?
Lou Brock is number 2 on the list. Over to Pitch Perfect.
Tigers, Ty Cobb.
Ty Cobb is number 4 on the list. Back over to Pizza Rolls.
I mean, if you're willing to go with that name, I think he's there. I'm not 100, but I know he had a lot back then. But you have someone that's better than mine.
I'm good with it. Let's do it. Have at it.
All right, we will go with Billy Hamilton.
All right, Billy Hamilton is number 3 on the list with 914 stolen bases. Pitch Perfect, back to you guys.
We're gonna go with Tim Raines.
Mr. Tim Raines, yep, number 5 on the list with 808. You guys just going right down the list here. So we will move over to Pizza Rolls.
So we're talking about 2 different people here.
I don't recognize the last one you sent. That name just doesn't seem familiar to me. I mean, he could be there. I don't recall that particular.
This guy, I think we go with that first one we said, and Matt's gonna know him, just because watching those Twins in the '87. How about Vince Coleman?
You guys are going with Vince Coleman? He's number 6 on the list. Yep, with 752 stolen bases. So that means we're going right down the line. We have 7, 8, 9, and 10 left. We're back over to Pitch Perfect.
Yeah, Vince Coleman was the next one that we had teed up here. So it throws a wrench. Thanks a lot. I feel good about the one that I keep saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're gonna go with Kenny Lofton.
Kenny Lofton is number 15 on the list. So do you want to use your mulligan?
I'm not confident enough in mine.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't.
Okay, we'll go over to the Pizza Roll, fellas. You got number 7, 8, 9, and 10 left, and you can talk it out.
This is tough because you think of guys that have played forever, but then at the same time, it's a double-edged sword because by the time they get later in their career, they're not stealing any more bases. So I thought of Ozzy Smith as another Cardinal. I mean, that's all those Cardinals did was steal bases and play small ball. Another name I threw out there was Marquise Grissom, was another one that I thought would be. I mean, he played forever. He leadoff guy, and then Ernie Banks, just as a Cub guy. That was my thought. What names you got? What do you think?
I'm trying to dig back to some older names. I've been trying to think of some just players that played back in the day. I was trying to think. There's some guy I can't even tell you what team he's on, but I know it's like an old guy, like 1910s, 1920s that was stealing a lot. Billy Hamilton was like the 1890s, so it was after that. But I'm trying to think of anybody that played a really long time that might have started out really prolific and then, just kind of collect them toward the end. But
right,
I think Ozzy Smith is a.
All right, let's go with it. I mean, he batted number he was at the top of the lineup. I mean, he was always on there, and they had no power. So, I mean, other than a couple guys like Jack Clark and what have you. So, all right, you want to check in with Ozzy Smith?
Yeah, we can check in with that.
Ozzy Smith is not on my top 20. I don't know where Ozzy Smith finished. So do you want to use your mulligan?
I don't think so. If we missed that badly.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah, pretty much the rest of the list here that I can see, there's a few names I know. Otherwise, the majority of these guys were playing in the Black Sox era way back in the day.
So you do know them.
Exactly. Yeah, I do. There are some names on here that you will recognize. We'll go through some of these here. Number 7, of course, everyone knows Arlie Latham, right? Of course, yeah. Number 8, Eddie Collins. I believe Eddie Collins was on the Black Sox, wasn't he? Number 9, Max Carey, I think also was a Black Sox guy. Number 10, Hannes Wagner. We'll move on to Dean's List number 3. And this, my friends, is by far my all-time favorite Dean's List. This Dean's List is the top 10 quarterbacks ranked by the number of games they started that at some point in their career have backed up Brett Favre. So based off of the number of games that they started themselves, NFL quarterbacks who at some time had backed up Brett Favre. And I will say that on the list here, it doesn't have to be a person who was the backup within a game. They backed up, and they're known historically as being a Brett Favre backup. All right, so we started off with Pitch Perfect in that last one. We'll start with Pizza Rules again here for the third Dean's List.
I mean, I think we should go with the first one that we both said at the same time.
Of course. There has to be number one. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has to be number one. There's no question. Aaron Rodgers. We'll check in with Aaron Rodgers.
With 174 games, Aaron Rodgers is number 1. Pitch Perfect, over to you guys.
All right, we're going to go with Matt Hasselbeck.
With 160 games, Matt Hasselbeck is number 2 on the list. Back to Pizza Rolls.
Matt, you're making my brain hurt. Stop. This is ridiculous.
I'm digging deep for some of these.
I know, right?
There's some that are right on top, guys.
I mean, we could go with this one just because I think he might have enough to get on the top 10.
But I don't think so, though, because he didn't do a damn thing.
A lot of them didn't.
I know. I just wish we knew. I kind of wish somebody would just say number 10 just to give us an idea of what the lowest threshold is.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because I mean, honestly, the first ones are over 100, but like number 10 could be like 10 or 7.
Right. Totally. Yeah. All right. I think we go with the one you sent one of the first times. I think so. I just for a lack of, I think so. I think he played out in Seattle for, I think he had a handful at least.
Okay.
So let's go with that.
We're going to check in with Seneca Wallace.
Seneca Wallace. Not even on my list.
Yeah, that's probably right. Well, we're going to use our
You know what? I don't even think Seneca Wallace backed up Favre.
Well, we're going to use our mulligan because we want to. Not because we have another good
Seneca
name,
Wallace
but because we
up,
want to.
Seneca Wallace backed up Aaron Rodgers for a year, but he didn't. I don't think he ever backed up Favre. So
See,
yeah,
you don't have to rub it in, Matt. We get it.
Okay, so you guys are going to use your mulligan.
Yeah, we know we have no clue on this question, but we're going to use the mulligan anyway.
Go ahead, go for it.
Whew. All right.
Well, you go right ahead, Mason. Have at it.
Well, I know the first name, and I'm going to try to do the last name. It's going to be Don Majkowski, something like that. It's something close to that.
With 57 starts, Don Majkowski is number 6 on the list. Over to the Pitch Perfect fellas.
We'll go with Mark Brunell.
With 151 starts in the NFL in 1994, Mark Brunell backed up Brett Favre. Back over to Pizza Rolls.
He's actually been a clipboard captain that I've given out. We'll go with Matt Flynn.
Matt Flynn is on the list at number 16.
Yeah, that's about right.
Matt Flynn had that fantastic game that I was actually at where he threw for like 7,000 yards and 700 touchdowns and got himself a nice big fat contract with the Seattle Seahawks and then rode the pine behind Russell Wilson. So, yeah. So, Pizza Rule guys, you are out of mulligans and everything. So we'll go over to the pitch perfect fellas who can talk it out.
Mason's really going to beat himself up over that one.
Yeah, I think you being a Noah boy should go ahead and say this.
Yeah. The quarterback before the greatest ever, Drew Brees, we're going to go with Aaron Brooks.
With 90 starts in the NFL, Aaron Brooks backed up Brett Favre in 1999, one of my all-time favorite Favre backups.
You can keep him.
No, I liked him. He was just a good guy.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure he was, but
yeah,
he wasn't the greatest quarterback.
No, he was serviceable for you guys for like 4 years. He got you about 5-6 wins a year.
Tangent, unnecessary tangent.
5 years.
Stop it.
Find 15 yards. So,
okay. Back to the basics here.
I thought maybe Mark Bolger at some point was a backup on Green Bay. I think they signed him after he was drafted. 51 spots before Tom Brady, of course. In the 2000 NFL draft. That's for Eric. I'm trying to think of who else. Do we have any other names on here? Michael Vick, you brought up.
Yeah, I know it's close. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
When did Favre retire?
About 500 times.
That's true.
And then he kept coming back.
Yeah, which time?
Yeah, right. It was like 2009, 2010. So.
Yeah.
The Jets drafted the Sanchez in 2009. I'm just thinking guys that were perennial backups. I'm trying to think of like the late 90s, early 2000s. Like Charlie Batch, did he ever back up? He started a lot for the Steelers and the Lions. I feel like maybe he backed up Favre.
I know Tavares Jackson backed him out for a little bit. I know that.
That was before Joe Webb, right? Because Joe Webb was definitely.
I think that was that when he was with the
Vikings.
With the Vikings, yeah. All right, let's go with Tavares Jackson.
With 34 career starts, Tavares Jackson is number 9 on the list.
Okay.
All right, so that's 34. For some reason, I'm starting to lean towards Charlie Batch. I feel like at some point he made a stop in Green Bay. He would definitely have more starts than Tavares Jackson.
Let's just do it.
Again, that's like just completely out of left field. I'm just naming a guy that like backed up a bunch of people.
Okay. Let's check it in.
All right, we're going to go with Charlie Batch.
Charlie Batch, who started off his career in Detroit, wrapped his career up in Pittsburgh and only played for the 2 franchises.
Wow, really?
Never played underneath Favre. So, nope. I assume you guys want to use your mulligan.
Yeah.
So you were back on the clock.
I mean, Tim's shaking his head no, but I feel like
you guys don't want to use your mulligan? Oh, okay, and then the Dean's List is over.
He's offering me pizza rolls to not take the mulligan, but
we would have sounded a lot smarter if we did not go with the mulligan, just so you know.
Yeah, if there's any suspicion about us cheating, saying Seneca Wallace clearly shows we aren't.
Our Google skills suck, especially with this and the stealing. Yeah, we're not good.
Right, JJ, you've been on a roll. You've been on fire so far with your answers tonight. So whatever you feel good with, like if you feel good about Vic, then go for it. If you feel good about Doug Peterson, go for it.
I say we go Doug Peterson. See what we got. Let's check in with Doug Peterson.
With 17 career starts, Doug Peterson is number 12 on the list.
Whew.
Okay, so there are some names on here that I think you guys will know very well. This gentleman, after he decided to stop stocking at the grocery store in Iowa, actually spent almost a full year with the Packers, and that is Kurt Warner. Started 116 games in the NFL, and I believe he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, his name like popped in my head, and I was like, no, I don't remember that.
And then he backed Favre up in 1994 along with Mark Brunell. 1995 and 1996 saw this Hall of Fame quarterback who has 2 Super Bowl victories with 97 starts back him up. And Mr. Tim, that is Jim McMahon.
Doesn't count. He didn't sing with him, so it doesn't count.
Then with 42 career starts in 1997, Steve Bono backed up Favre. Then you got Tavares Jackson. Number 10 is Ty Detmer with 25 career starts backed up Favre in 93 and 95. So after the first quarter's Dean list, the scores going into the second quarter are Pitch Perfect with 140, and We Got Pizza Rolls with 110. We'll go into today's second quarter, which will be everyone's favorite pre and post game. For this round, there will be 5 before and after style questions. For example, if I said, what all-time leader in receptions for the Indianapolis Colts was a Notre Dame safety drafted by the Minnesota Vikings? The answer would be Marvin Harrison Smith. Each question is worth 20 points. Question number 1. What NBA journeyman forward, who was overshadowed by his twin brother, was also a standout at Duke on his way to a 20-year NBA career?
We can check in.
Pitch Perfect is checked in. Pizza Rolls, you guys can talk it out.
I knew the famous one. I was trying to remember it because we talked about him on a previous podcast, I think, talking about which one was older.
All right.
But
let's go ahead and check in with that then.
Yeah, we'll check in with Harvey is the one that's the overshadowed of the two then. So yeah, it would be Harvey Grant Hill.
Pizza Rolls are checking in with Harvey Grant Hill. What do you guys have? Pitch Perfect.
Yeah, definitely Harvey Grant overshadowed by Horace, and then my all-time favorite NBA player. So it's Harvey Grant Hill.
Both teams getting points. Harvey Grant Hill. Question 2. What 5-time NFL Pro Bowler and 2-time All-Pro tight end was also drafted number 1 overall in 2017 by the San Antonio Stars?
We can check in.
All right. Pitch Perfect is checking in. Pizza Roll, you can talk it out.
I don't know anything about the Stars, really. So that.
Right. But what do you got on the first pass? You got anything on the first half?
5-time Pro Bowl or 2-time All-Pro. So I'm thinking Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Zach Ertz. I mean, but he didn't have a date either, so it might not have to be a recent.
Right.
I'm trying to think of stars at the time. No pun intended. I'm trying to think of players that were drafted, college basketball stars. That would have been Brittany Griner. She wouldn't have. She was drafted by another team.
Right.
Elena Deladon. I think she was another.
Yeah, but that was right.
I'm just trying to think of people that were good at the time.
Dude, I'm sorry, man. I got to tap. I don't know. I just can't even think of I don't know.
I don't have a name for either one of them. That's the thing, because the first one doesn't have any kind of time context, and the second one I can't even name a WNBA player that plays on that team. Just pick a tight end, and we'll make a women's name out of it.
Well, the thing is that's the other thing is I'm trying to think of a tight end that actually has a last name that could actually be a first name. I mean, Kelsey is actually probably your best bet. Okay, so I like Kelsey just because.
Like Travis Kelce something.
Sure.
Travis Kelce Smith.
Let's move on. I mean, we don't got it.
Let's go with
so,
it. That's better than nothing. So Travis Kelce Smith.
All right. Pizza Rolls are checking in with Travis Kelce Smith. And what are you guys checking in with? Pitch Perfect.
Knew this one pretty quickly. One of my favorite WNBA players, actually. I actually know more about the WNBA than I do hockey. And I admit that, and I have no shame.
No shame.
It's Travis Kelce Plum.
That is correct. It is Travis Kelce Plum. Moving on to question number 3. The Canadian MMA fighter that holds the UFC record for most consecutive title defenses in the welterweight division, who was drafted number 1 overall in the 1987 NHL draft by the Buffalo Sabres, playing in over 1,200 games and scoring 515 goals.
Do you guys want me to lock in? Because I can lock in. Or I'm sorry, check in.
Yeah, go for it. You got it.
Yep. Tim, you guys are checking in? You can talk it out then. Pitch Perfect.
All right. Yeah, so we got the fighter.
So George St. Pierre. Then...
Yeah, so it's Pierre something. It's hockey. It's not WNBA, so I'm useless here.
You and I both, bro.
I mean, so it's going to be like a 90s hockey player. I mean, he's drafted in 87, so the Sabres. What about like Pierre Francois? That sounds cool, right?
It does.
Do you want to go with that?
Let's do it.
All right, we're gonna check in with. He has a nice little mustache in my head. It's not real. It's Pierre Francois.
George St. Pierre Francois.
There we go.
George St. Pierre Francois. Pitch Perfect is checking in with that. And Pizza Rolls, what do you guys got?
Well, Scott, I agree with you. I got the name from like NHL 94. He was the center, I believe. I mean, I'm going to say this and I could be wrong, but I think he played with McGillney. I think it's George St. Pierre Turgeon.
One team getting points. It is George St. Pierre Turgeon. Question 4. What NBA big man started his career with the Harlem Globetrotters on his way to 2 NBA championships, 4 MVPs, and 20,000 female friends? And he was also a starting quarterback for the Oilers and Packers from 1971 to 1985.
Mason, you want to check in with that?
Yeah, that's the only thing I got for that. So we'll go ahead and check in.
All right, Pizza Rules are checked in. Pitch Perfect. You guys can go ahead and talk it out.
JJ, that's too late.
Yeah, Bart Starr was.
Bart Starr. Yeah.
He said 71 to 85. Yeah.
I mean, I should know this by the big man. 4-time MVP. I don't know what that female friends.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Thing means. Like, that's not ringing a bell with me for some reason. But there aren't a lot of 4-time MVPs. And it started his career with the Globetrotters. Like, that doesn't ring a bell for me either. I was thinking like Daryl Dawkins, Chocolate Thunder, but I don't think there's a QB with like. I mean, unless there's a QB whose name is like Kinsey. Is it Daryl Dawkins Stevens or something? You know what I mean? Like, I can't. So I like this one. I can't attack this one from either direction.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's like Travis Kelce Plum for them. Like I can't. I don't even. So like,
okay, 4-time big man.
Yeah,
MVP.
Right. So it's like Bill Russell.
Wilt? Was Wilt a 4-time?
Oh yeah, it is Wilt. It's definitely Wilt because he played for the Globetrotters. That's right.
Okay. Okay.
So Wilt Chamberlain.
Nerd Skinnerd.
Nice. Lynn, I'm just trying to.
Freebird.
We could have played Freebird while they're thinking about the answer.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. You guys had some there too, Mason, so you're not alone.
Yeah.
In this game, we will not stay. Lynn Sanity.
Linsanity.
Lynn. Well, is it like Linford? Lynn.
I bet you it would be like
Lin-Manuel Miranda. I got it. Matt loves Hamilton.
You're not throwing away your shot, buddy. That's for sure.
Good one. Was Lynn Dickey a quarterback? Or is he just a funny name that I'm thinking of?
I've never heard that name in my life. He could be a quarterback. I have no idea.
Let's just go with your Hamilton, buddy. I forgot. Oh, Wilt Chamberlain. I don't even. What's his name? Go ahead, Scott. Lock it in.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
There you go.
Is that what you're going with?
Yes.
Okay. All right. The Perfect are checking in with Will Chamberlain, Manuel Miranda. All right. Pizza Rolls. What do you guys got?
Mason, go ahead, buddy. You had it all.
Yeah, I knew the first part for sure. The exploits kind of helped out a little bit. The first part's definitely Wilt Chamberlain. And I think Matt has referenced this person, and you almost stumbled upon it. You almost backed your way into the right answer. We checked in with Wilt Chamberlain Dickey.
One team getting points. The answer is Wilt Chamberlain Dickey. That's right. You guys had Lynn Dickey sitting right there, Scott and JJ. Lynn Dickey, actually, the original number 12 on the Packers, was a pretty solid quarterback for about 8 to 10 years or so in the late 70s and early 80s. So I know all of you are going to say, it was before I was born. But you know what? Sports happen before you're born, so shut it.
I wasn't going to say that.
Hey, when he hung him up, I was 4, so we're good.
There you go.
I'm in there.
Question number 5. What generally accepted name for the big 4 events in tennis and golf also played tight end for the Green Bay Packers from 2008 to 2013?
We'll go ahead and check in.
All right, Pitch Perfect has checked in. Go ahead and talk it out. Pizza Rolls.
I mean, the first part got to be Grand Slam, right?
Right. And I'm trying to rack my head of tight ends that played.
Is there a guy like my friend like Ding Dong, like Grand Slam a Ding Dong?
Yeah, he was probably a pretty prolific tight end for those teams.
I don't even know where you start with that name though.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, Slam Am or Lamb. I don't. The only tight end I can name around that time is Jermichael Finley, but I don't. Maybe it was a backup. 2008, 2013. I mean, that's a decently long time.
Oh right, I mean Rodgers. You think he used him?
Right.
He had to be big in that Super Bowl because Rodgers won it in
2010.
Yeah.
So I can't even name like I said, Jermichael Finley. I think was their starting tight end, but I mean, maybe they had someone else.
08 to 13. That is a good grip of years. I mean,
so the only tight end I can name in that time is Jermichael Finley, and I mean, obviously that doesn't fit, but
just so I'm hearing this correctly. What they call the four majors in golf and tennis, correct? That's what the first part of that is.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have another name that I can think of.
I got nothing, man, other than like Grand Slam Michael Finley.
Yeah, I can't even think of. I could maybe think about it and get it, but I don't even know. It doesn't, like, the tight ends I can remember playing for Green Bay just don't fit that in general. Let's come up with a name that fits that. There's a famous author in the 1800s, Ambrose Bierce. He wrote a couple of really good books back in the day. So, Grand Slam Bro Spears is what we're checking with. So I got nothing.
Pizza Rolls is checking in with something that I don't know about. So, sure. Then one thing before you guys check in there, Scott. No, I'm not going to give the answer. I'm just going to say you used a word when you guys were talking about it that I specifically did not use.
They'll figure it out when I give my correct answer.
So go ahead, Scott, and tell us what you guys have for an answer.
Yeah, so the only tight end I could think of from that time, one of my favorite tight ends, was Jermichael Finley. So at first I'm kicking around Grand Slam, I'm kicking around Open, and then I'm like, oh, they're called majors. So we checked in with Major Michael Finley.
That is right. Major Michael Finley is the answer. The way I worded it, just so you know, Tim and Mason, was what generally accepted name for the big four events in tennis and golf. Heading into halftime, we have a score of Pitch Perfect with 200 points, and we got Pizza Rolls with 170. Both teams got 60 points in that quarter. So the score difference didn't change much, and we're heading into our halftime. Our halftime show are 5 entertainment questions that pertain to sports. Each question is worth 20 points. We'll start off with question number 1. Terry Crews is famous for dozens of acting and entertainment-related activities, but he was also a successful football player, being drafted by the Rams and spending 5 years in and out of different NFL franchises. But in college, he was a Bronco, playing for what Mid-American Conference school?
We can check in.
Pitch Perfect is checking in. Go ahead, Pizza Rolls. Chat it out.
So the name you threw out was Boise State, but they're not MAC. That I think they're WAC, and they were Mountain West maybe or something, moved somewhere.
Yeah, I was just thinking because it was such a long time ago that maybe they were grouped into there.
I mean, Mid-American, we're talking about like the Midwest area, like.
Oh yeah, Creighton, Wichita State. I mean, those guys, right?
Yeah, probably as farthest going to like maybe Ohio or something. At the furthest, the MAC goes, because I think Miami of Ohio is in the MAC maybe.
I'm even going off Bronco. I mean, the Broncos, that's a pretty unique name.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm trying to remember. It's the one that the Minnesota football coach came from there, because they were the ones. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I can see the logo and I can't. Oh, it's Western Michigan. I was going through, when I said Northern Illinois, I started going through directional schools, because there's Eastern Michigan and there's like all those. I think it's Western Michigan is the Broncos, and I've seen the logo, and I think.
Say no more, my friend. You're good. Let's do it.
Okay, we'll check in with Western Michigan.
All right, Pizza Rolls are checked in with Western Michigan. Pitch Perfect, what do you guys got?
Yeah, we went off the Broncos. First one we thought was Boise State. We said, nope, that's not a Mid-American. So we decided to settle on Western Michigan.
Both teams getting points here. The answer is Western Michigan. In 1988, Cruz was all conference at defensive end, and the Broncos won the conference that season.
Well done, Mason. Thanks for carrying me.
Yeah, those directional schools in Michigan. There's Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan, Southern Michigan. Moving on to question number 2. This actor may be more known for his Fast and Furious roles, but he also spent 12 years as a member of the British national swimming squad as a diver, competing in the 10, 3, and 1 meter competitions.
All right, we'll check in. We'll just take that one. Yeah.
All right, the pizza rolls are checked in. Pitch perfect. You can talk it out.
All right, JJ. So I feel pretty confident saying that it's not Tyrese. My initial guess is Jason Statham.
Sounds great.
He's in those movies, and I'm pretty sure he's British. I just feel like it's Jason Statham because he didn't get into acting until he was a little bit older, which would have given him the time to compete in swimming for 12 years.
All right. Say less. Let's do it.
All right, so we'll go ahead and check in with Jason Statham.
Okay, pizza rolls. What are you guys checking in with?
Yeah, that's what we said too. It was we knew it wasn't going to be Vin Diesel because we figured he'd just sink like a rock, and so we went with Jason Statham.
That's right. The answer is Jason Statham, and I'm really curious if he used those aquatic swimming skills when he filmed The Meg, right? So
I'm sure he
everyone's favorite Jason Statham movie. All right, we'll move on to question number 3. After graduating a junior college in 1971, this NCIS actor had a choice between becoming a starting quarterback for either Oklahoma or UCLA. He chose UCLA and started there between both 72 and 73.
We can check in.
Pitch perfect is checked in. Pizza rolls, you can talk it out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure about this one because I think I remember reading somewhere that he played at UCLA for a while, and he's been on NCIS for a long time. So I'm pretty sure it's Mark Harmon. So if you're good with that, Tim.
You got it. Yep.
Check in with Mark Harmon.
Pizza rolls checking in with the Mark Harmon. What do you guys have? Pitch perfect.
My late father, rest his soul, was obsessed with NCIS and with Mark Harmon. My mom used to tease him all the time. And my dad's counter argument would be like, well, he was a really good athlete in the 70s. That's why I like him so much. So we checked in with Mark Harmon.
Both teams getting points there. At UCLA, he went 2-7-1 in 1972 and then 9-2 in 1973. And in his first start against the 2-time NCAA champion Nebraska Cornhuskers, Mark led the Bruins to a 20-7 victory as an 18-point underdog. I like to put that in because my wife is a graduate of the University of Nebraska and Cornhuskers. All right, moving on to question number 4. At Florida State University in 1954, Burt Reynolds played on the football team as a halfback, and he also roomed with this famed college football broadcaster.
Yeah, we're checking.
Yep.
Pizza rolls are checked in. Pitch perfect. You can talk it out.
These questions just keep going backwards in typical Matt fashion. I've heard this before. Like, I've heard the story, and I can't remember which one it is. I think it's Lee Corso. The years work out, right? This would have made Lee Corso, like, born in the 30s, which, sounds about right for him. We're going to check in with Lee Corso.
All right. Pitch perfect is checking in with Lee Corso. Pizza rolls, what did you guys check in with?
Mason, you want to don the headgear and give us the answer?
Yeah, not so fast. No, actually, it is Lee Corso. That's right.
All right, Lee Corso is the correct answer. Burt Reynolds injured his knee in the 1957 season and later lost his spleen, and then some other unrelated, not to football accident, I believe, which led him to giving up football and taking up acting. He was a pretty decent football player, evidently, so it's a bummer he couldn't make a career out of that, but I think he did pretty well for himself. So, moving on to question number 5. At the age of 44, this Oscar-winning actress took up archery. She became obsessed, and 2.5 years of training later, she made it to the semifinals for the Olympics in 2000. But if she made it, she would have had to bring her little sister.
We'll check in.
All right. Pitch Perfect is checked in. Go ahead, Pizza Rolls, and talk it out.
She was 44 in 2000.
So she probably won her Oscar in probably the 80s or 90s, maybe? Something like late 80s, early 90s.
She picked up archery when she was 44 and then didn't get there for 2.5 years. So that puts her being born in 53, 54.
And I'm trying to figure out the little sister part. Like, is it a famous sister, or it's I think maybe it's a reference to a movie she was in?
I mean, just thinking of sisters that are, right, famous.
All the ones I think of are older, much, much older. So
I like your idea. Like you said, like the Olympics were in Australia that year.
Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe it might be someone like a home Australian actress that has a sister that would be born in the mid-1950s.
I have no idea. Minnie Driver. I mean, that's one, but she's not that old at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, she was in Good Will Hunting, and I don't even know if she won an Oscar. I mean, Meryl Streep sounds like she'd be great with the bow and arrow. I mean, just
she's
dialed in.
But she's older than.
Well, I don't know now because she's.
So that would make this person they're 64 because they were 44 in 2000. They'd be 64. I think Meryl Streep's a little bit older than that. I mean, that's kind of the ballpark we're looking at, but
I have no idea. Helen Hunt.
I'm good with that. Better than what I got. So,
all right, Helen Hunt.
All right, Pizza Rolls are checking in with Helen Hunt. Pitch Perfect, what did you guys have?
JJ, this is all you, dude. Came in with the dynamite drop in as I'm sitting here trying to think of all the actresses. So go for it, buddy.
Oh, it was a team effort. So, we were thinking. I don't do actresses very well, so I went with the little sister, and then I was like, maybe it's not like a real life sister. Maybe it's like in a movie. Started thinking about movies with sisters. Oscar winners came up with A League of Their Own. I said, could it be? And then Scott in all caps said, dude, Gina Davis. So that's what we checked in with.
Yep, the answer is Gina Davis because, she had to bring her little sister with her in League of Their Own. So, all right, heading into our second half, we have a score update. Pitch Perfect has 300 points, and We Got Pizza Rolls has 250. All right, we'd now like to take a minute to invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at BenchwarmersTP. We also have a new Facebook group for fans of the pod called The Bench. Join us there to comment on the latest episodes and share cool sports facts and trivia. And if you'd be willing to rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher, we'd greatly appreciate the support so that other fans can find the podcast. Thank you very much. And now we're on to the second half. Today's third quarter will be David versus Goliath. This round will consist of 5 pairs of questions, one easier, David, and one harder, Goliath. After hearing both questions, each team will pick one of the 2 questions to answer, either David or Goliath. Each David question is worth 20 points, and each Goliath is worth 50 points. Number 1, David. When the Bruins and Blackhawks last faced off in the Stanley Cup Finals, the Blackhawks won in 6 games. What year was that? Question number 1, Goliath. What goalie was drafted by the Blackhawks in 1983, didn't start playing in the NHL until 1990, and went on to win 2 Stanley Cups with a different original 6 team?
We can check in.
So you got the David and the Goliath. Which one are you going to check in with?
Goliath.
We got Pizza Rolls is checking in with Goliath. So Pitch Perfect, you folks can check it out.
The only goalie that I can think of is Marc-Andre Fleury, and I don't even think he's fits the time period or anything.
And he played for his main team Pittsburgh, right?
I think it was.
They're not original 6, right? So
I have no idea.
That question, right? I don't know. Maybe they are. I don't think they are. I feel like they're not. All right. So JJ, so the Blackhawks Bruins, I don't know if like one of the Blackhawks' more recent Stanley Cups was against Boston. You know, when they won with recently with like Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews and those guys. All right, so goalies, right? Drafted in 1983, two Stanley Cups with a different original 6 team. So maybe one of those Canadian teams are original 6, right? Probably. I know Toronto's won the original 6, but they didn't win 2 Stanley Cups after 1983, to my knowledge. So it's all right. So goalie that was like 80s and 90s, right? So we had a goalies Dean's list before. I'm just gonna think of names that were on that list. I won't let Dominik Hasek mess me up out of an answer again. So we're not saying him.
I feel like we almost have a better shot of picking a year and praying.
I just don't even know what years they won it. 2011-ish.
Did you like graduate high school or college around then?
No, dude, I'm old.
I mean, I don't know. You look pretty young.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I use like the L'Oreal because I'm worth it. Yeah, let's just guess at a year.
Okay.
I like. Why don't we say 2011? Because I don't know. You say like the Bruins. You feel like the Bruins were good around the time the Red Sox were, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So 2011 would fit.
Yeah, I'd say 2011, 2012.
That's around when the Blackhawks started winning. Let's say 2011.
2011?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, we're going to check in with the David question, and our answer is 2011.
And pizza rolls, what do you guys have? You checked in with Goliath. What's your answer?
I believe that Dominik Hasek actually started with the Hawks, and he backed up Eddie Belfour. So we went with Dominik Hasek.
Question number 1, David, the answer is 2013. And question number 1, Goliath, the answer is Dominik Hasek. Poor Scott, you sat there saying Dominik Hasek is not going to kill you or whatever you said again in this question. I thought that was awesome, buddy.
I was not going to bring that up, Scott. I just want you to know.
Up until about a week ago, he was my favorite goalie, and now I have to rethink everything. So Curtis Joseph it is.
So although Hasek was drafted 199th overall in 1983, he couldn't come to North America until the Iron Curtain fell in 1989. All right, we'll move on to question number 2. David, what Olympic sport requires both a snatch and a clean and jerk? Question number 2, Goliath, in Olympic handball, how many players are on the court for each team?
All right, we're ready to check in.
Okay, pizza rolls are checking in. Go ahead and talk it out. They're pitch perfect.
JJ, if you feel 77% sure, then just check in with it.
I only said 77 because that's what I think the answer is there for the Goliath. So, yeah, so we'll check in with Goliath for 7.
Okay, so pitch perfect. You guys are checking in with Goliath, and we got pizza rolls. What are you guys checking in with?
With the David, with weightlifting.
With the David. So David, question number 2 is weightlifting, and question number 2, Goliath, is 7 points on both sides there. For weightlifting, men's Olympic weightlifting debuted in 1896, and women's debuted in 2000. For handball, the sport debuted also in 1896, and most recently has been dominated by the French team with 2 gold medals and a silver over the past decade or 2. Question number 3, David, which NL Central team has the longest World Series appearance drought, making their last appearance in the 1970s? Question number 3, Goliath, what NL team has the longest NLCS appearance drought, making their last appearance in the early 1990s?
All right, we're gonna check in with the Goliath.
All right, Pittsburgh Perfect is checking in with Goliath. Pizza rolls, you guys can go ahead and talk it out.
I mean, we're going to go Goliath here, no doubt, right? So it's between the Reds and the Pirates, we think. We think it's all in the NL Central. And I know the bad boys with Norm Charlton and Rob Dibble and those guys. And I believe Pinello took them to the NLCS. And I'm just trying to figure out if it was 89 or 90, because I think it was 90. But we also have the Pirates.
And I mean, we placed, because Braves Pirates was like 91, 92. One of those two for sure. I just don't know if they've made it. They haven't really been good since then. So I don't know if there's a year where they kind of.
All right. Neither one of them have been good since then.
Yeah. I was just thinking, because I think the Pirates were a lot worse in that time period from that point on, that it's more likely. But I mean, if you think the Reds were 90 and haven't made it since, you can go for that. I don't have a solid ground on either one of them, other than that Braves Pirate series somewhere in there that I can confirm was 91, 92 in that ballpark, which is early 90s. If the only way it would beat it is if the Reds made it in 90.
All right, let's go Pirates.
Okay. All right, we'll check in Goliath with the Pirates.
All right, we got Pizza Rolls is checking in Goliath with the Pirates. And Pitch Perfect, you guys were checking in with Goliath. What did you guys have?
So it sounds like conversations and the thought processes were exactly the same, because we obviously had it narrowed down to the Reds and Pirates, and just trying to figure out if the Reds like snuck into one since the Pirates, Braves, NLCS, like the Sid Bream Pirates teams. The Reds won the World Series in 1990. So obviously they made the NLCS. And then JJ seemed to think that in 95, the Reds made the NLCS against Atlanta, which I couldn't really place. I don't remember that necessarily happening, but I know that Barry Larkin won the MVP in 95. So I know they had a good season, and they were still somewhat like that kind of Bad Boys Red Squad that Tim was talking about. Like, it was kind of towards the tail end of that. So maybe they snuck in, or maybe they snuck in like 07-ish when, with like Joey Votto and Jay Bruce and those guys. So we checked in with the Pirates as well for Goliath.
All right, so both teams are checking in Goliath with the Pirates. Just to let you know, the Reds did lose to the Braves in the 1995 NLCS. The last time that the Pirates made the NLCS was 1992. So the answer for Goliath is the Pittsburgh Pirates. And making their last appearance in 1979, 40 years ago, the NL Central team with the longest World Series drought is also the Pittsburgh Pirates. So the answer for both of them was Pittsburgh. All right, moving on to question number 4. David, Super Bowl 20 featured the New England Patriots versus the Chicago Bears. But what city and stadium did they play that game in? Question number 4, Goliath. The game was won by the Bears 46-10, but who was the game's MVP?
All right, we're going to go ahead and check in.
All right, the Pizza Roll boys are checking in. So go ahead, Pitch Perfect, you guys can talk it out.
I'm pretty sure David is the Superdome.
I mean, if you think that, obviously I'm going to believe you. So,
I mean, I wasn't born then. I wasn't around, so.
Yeah, like I said, I've pretty much typed all the names to you of guys I know that were on that team, and none of them won the MVP because that's Goliath. So it's not going to be a layup like Peyton or McMahon or Singletary.
I think if we ever pulled out a Goliath name, I think we just go ahead and check in with the Superdome in New Orleans.
All right. Pitch Perfect is checking in with the New Orleans Superdome for the David. And Pizza Rolls, you guys checked in with the Goliath. What do you guys have for an answer on that?
Well, we figured it had to be on the defensive side. We just kind of trying to figure out if it was Dearson or Singletary or Richard Dent. So we ended up checking in with Richard Dent.
Okay. The answer for question 4, David, is the New Orleans Superdome. There was no power outages in 1985. And the answer for question number 4, Goliath, is Richard Dent. Dent became the 3rd defensive end in Super Bowl history to be named MVP. Mason, who were the other 2?
Oh, that's Harvey Martin and Randy White.
Bingo. Good job, buddy. Question number 5, David. The top German soccer league is the Bundesliga. It's existed since 1963, but one team has dominated the league, winning 29 of their 57 championships. What club is that? Question number 5, Goliath. That team has the 29 championships. Name either number 2, number 3, or number 4 on that list of champions after them.
All right, we'll check in.
All right. Pizza Rolls, you guys can go ahead and talk it out.
Yeah, I think we should just take the points because, I mean, we can come up with German cities and try to come up with names all night long. I don't think it's going to.
Yeah, I mean, I know that, like you said, Dortmund's been good. I mean, but that's recently. I don't know if the Flying Bumblebees have been good for how many ever years, So I think we just go. Let's just lock in with David.
Yeah, that's one of the two that I recognize. I can name off the top of my head was that and Borussia. I mean, probably there might be some random German cities, like little small German cities that racked up a couple championships back in the day. I'm good with going with the David. That's fine with me.
All right. We'll check in with Bayern Munich for the David.
All right. Pizza Rolls are checking in with Bayern Munich with David. And Pitch Perfect, what did you guys check in with?
We checked in with Dortmund for Goliath.
Checked in with Goliath, and you went with Dortmund. The answer for David is Bayern Munich. And the 3 options for Goliath are Borussia Mönchengladbach, Werder Bremen, and Borussia Dortmund. Correct answer for Goliath with Pitch Perfect. After the third quarter, we have a score of Pitch Perfect at 470 points, and we got Pizza Rolls at 440 points. That'll bring us to the fourth quarter, known as Put Your Fours Up. This quarter consists of 5 categorized questions that teams will wager up to 100 points each, not to exceed their current point total. The categories for today are as follows. Question number 1. In the world of MLB, that was fast. Question number 2. In the world of the NFL, franchise history. Question number 3. In the world of the NHL, need some spell check. Question number 4. Professional basketball franchise history. And question number 5. Retired Major League Baseball numbers. All right, now that all the wagers are in, we'll move on to the questions. Quarter number 4, question number 1. Under the area of Major League Baseball, that was fast. What MLB expansion franchise was the fastest to win the World Series?
We're going to go ahead and check in.
Okay, Pitch Perfect is checking in. Go ahead, Pizza Rolls, and talk it out.
Yeah, they was on my short list of teams.
I'm just scared that somebody did it in their inaugural year. You'd think the Marlins, because they're only talking 4 years.
Yeah,
93 to 97. And that was my gut answer.
Yeah, I had them in mind. I was just trying to think of expansion franchises that were good really quickly, and
I'm just hoping we don't get hosed by somebody that was that came in 1914 and they won it that year.
Yeah, I don't think there's an MLB franchise that won like their first year. I don't recall that.
Marlins is my best.
Yeah, I'm good with checking in with that.
All right, we'll check in with the Marlins.
And the Pizza Rolls are checking in with the Marlins. And what was your bet?
We bet 100 points.
Okay. And Pitch Perfect, what did you guys bet? And then what was your answer?
We also bet 100 points. My first thought that came to my head was the Marlins because it's like the first World Series that I really paid attention to as a kid was in 97 against the baseball team from Cleveland. But then I remembered that the Diamondbacks came into the league in 98, won in 2001. That's only 3 years. So we checked in with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
The answer is the Arizona Diamondbacks. They won their World Series in 2001, just 4 years into their franchise history, so their 4th full season. The Marlins came in 93 and won it in 97 in their 5th full season.
But does that count because there was a stoppage in 94? That season doesn't count.
After question number 1, the score has dramatically turned. 570 for Pitch Perfect and 340 for Pizza Rolls. Question number 2 in the area of NFL franchise history. Of the original 14 teams that started the NFL in 1920, only one remains in the league today with the same name that it started with in 1920. What team is that?
We're going to check in.
Pitch Perfect is going to go ahead and check in. Pizza Rolls, you guys can go ahead and chat it out.
So we had a few teams we were throwing around. Lions seem possible. And I mean, I can't think of when they would have changed their name if they did. Packers is possible, but really obvious.
The Lions seem right because, I mean, they wear those god-awful ugly jerseys on Thanksgiving sometimes.
Well, so did the Steelers. The Steelers have those ugly bumblebee jerseys. So maybe, I mean, they merged with the Eagles when they were the Steagles.
I'm just trying to go through their 14 original teams. I mean, we know it's not the Bears because they were the Decatur Staleys.
Right.
And it can't be teams that are too far away. I mean, those are just for travel restrictions, it's got to be somewhere.
In the Midwest, probably, or the East Coast.
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm trying to go through each division and figure out what team would have been around that long.
Right. Like, you can't think it's anybody from the NFC West.
Yeah, those were all much newer teams.
Right.
Same for NFC South. It's not going to be any of those. Like I said, NFC North has a lot of older teams in that, which is, an easy place to gravitate to because Packers and Lions, we already eliminated Bears, but those two have been playing for a long time.
Right. Was Cleveland in it? I mean, they're still the same name.
I don't know if they were the Cleveland Browns for that.
It's just so generic, I just thought that was my other thought. Yeah, I'm good with going with one of the NFC North teams.
We can go with Lions just because I feel like Packers is really obvious.
Yeah.
Especially with Matt hosting.
We'll game 3 and say, you already asked the Packers question.
All right, so you want to go with the Lions?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, we'll check in with the Lions.
All right, we got Pizza Rolls is checked in with the Detroit Lions, and what was your bet?
We bet 100.
All right, Pitch Perfect, how much did you guys bet, and what did you check in with?
So we were debating about game theory as well, but in the opposite direction. We were between the Bears, because Tim's on, thought he might throw in another Bears question or a wheelhouse question for him, but we ended up going with the Cardinals, and we bet 50.
Okay, the answer is the Arizona, St. Louis, Chicago Cardinals. The Bears did start off in the 1920 season, but as the Decatur Staleys. And even though they are the oldest franchise in the NFL, the Green Bay Packers did not join the NFL until 1921. There was only 2 teams in existence in that 1920 collection of teams from the NFL. That was the Chicago Bears and the Arizona Cardinals. We'll go on to question number 3. Under the area of NHL spell check, spelling can be tough, but you think you would triple check everything before engraving the Stanley Cup. After winning the 71-72 Stanley Cup, this team was misspelled using 2 Q's in the spelling of the team. Autocorrect would have helped this.
We can check in.
All right, Pitch Perfect is checked in. Pizza Rolls, you guys can go ahead and talk it out.
I'm 100% on this because I've actually seen a picture of this because they instead of the 2 O's in Boston, they put Q's, so it'd be Bekuskun Bruins. But we'll check in with the Boston Bruins.
All right, we got Pizza Rolls are checking in with the Bekuskun Bruins for how many points?
100.
100 points. And Pitch Perfect, how much did you bet, and what's your answer?
Well, it's a hockey question, so we bet whopping 0. No idea. Just trying to think of what might have a Q in it. So we just checked in with the Nordiques.
All right. The answer to the question is the Boston Bruins. Question number 4. But before we do that, a score update. We got Pizza Rolls is up to 340 points, and Pitch Perfect is at 620. So there's still an opportunity here. Question number 4. Under the area of pro basketball franchise history. The ABA started in 1967 with 10 teams, 11 if you count the one that started mid-season. And the league lasted until it was absorbed by the NBA in 1976. 4 teams joined the NBA from the ABA, but only one of those 4 teams was an original ABA member and continues to use the same name and be in the same town as it did in 1967. What team is that?
Okay, we'll go ahead and check in.
The pizza roll fellas have checked in. Pitch Perfect, you can talk it out.
JD, I don't feel entirely confident about any of them. I just threw a bunch in there to kind of see if any of them sparked anything in you.
So, yeah, we were talking about Spurs, Pacers. I don't think the Rockets. 76ers could be too.
Well, because the Philadelphia Warriors were NBA. Like, they had Chamberlain, and then when they moved out west, the 76ers were ABA and then moved on into the NBA.
I'm between the Spurs and the Pacers. And if I had to guess, just because of the beautiful hat on your head, I'd say the Pacers.
Obviously, I like the Pacers. I bought this hat because, like, I'm a Paul George fan. So, I bought this a while ago. And I was a Reggie Miller fan, a Danny Granger fan. I can't even trace back, like, Pacers lineage very far, to be honest with you. Like, I have zero knowledge of anything, like, pre-1985 Pacers. Like, they don't even exist to me. So I can't even tell you, like, their origin, how they came to be.
I know they're old. I have a good friend is a Pacer fan, and so he talks about it, and I usually fall asleep when he talks about it. So
Sure.
I know they're old. I don't think we're going to get anywhere. So
I mean, the Spurs, like, definitely around that time, I think they're from the ABA. I mean, if you're between those two, I'm more inclined to lean towards the Spurs, but I'm not sure that they were always the San Antonio Spurs. So, all right, why don't we I guess we'll just check in with the Pacers since I'm wearing the hat.
Let's do it.
All right, well, we're checking in with the Indiana Pacers.
And for how much?
100.
All right, for 100, you guys checked in with the Indiana Pacers. Pizza rolls, how much did you bet, and what was your answer?
We don't have very strong ABA knowledge. I knew one team that was in the ABA, and I thought they might have been one of the original. So we bet 40 points, and we went with the San Antonio Spurs.
So just as an FYI, the San Antonio Spurs were an original team, but they were not the San Antonio Spurs. They were the Dallas Chaparrals. And just an FYI, the Rockets were original team, but they were the Denver Rockets. So the answer is Scott's hat, the Indiana Pacers. I thought of this question the moment the Zoom popped up, and Scott was wearing the Pacers hat. So the other teams that joined the ABA were the Nets, originally the Americans, the Spurs, originally the Dallas Chaparrals, and the Nuggets, originally the Rockets. So with 100 points, Pitch Perfect jumps up to 720 points, and losing 40 points, Pizza Rolls drops down to 300. And with that, we'll move on to question number 5. In the area of retired MLB numbers. In 1997, Major League Baseball retired the number 42 in honor of Jackie Robinson throughout the league. That meant that each team had at least one retired number. Today, there's only one team with just the number 42 retired. What is that team?
All right, we'll go ahead and check in.
Pizza rolls are checked in. Go ahead and talk it out. Pitch Perfect.
All right, so we're thinking likely expansion team, right? It's like the Marlins, Tampa. I think Arizona probably retired like big units.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Or Schilling, or Luis Gonzalez. I'm thinking some other teams. I'm thinking teams that haven't had a lot of good players. Obviously, like I was thinking San Diego, but we know that they've retired Tony Gwynn, probably Trevor Hoffman by now. Jenny Baker.
The Rockies? They haven't had anybody good ever.
Larry Walker. I think they might have retired Larry Walker's number. Feel pretty they did, actually. I mean, he was their franchise cornerstone. NL West, all those teams are going to have retired numbers. NL Central, all those teams should have retired numbers. All of them except for the Marlins, I would say definitely do. I think the Marlins retired Jose Fernandez's number after his tragic passing.
They could have.
I don't see why they wouldn't have.
I think they
probably the best pitcher they ever had.
Finally
towards Tampa, because I just can't think of anyone who's like, I don't think they were retiring like Aubrey Huff number or Ben Zobrist's number. I don't think they've yet retired Evan Longoria's number or like Scott Kazmir. You know, like other teams, NL Central, you know, White Sox, Tigers, Twins, Royals, and then the AL East, except for Tampa. I think it's Tampa. I think that's our best guess.
Okay. So basically what we're saying is that Florida teams pretty much suck in baseball. We can agree.
I mean, they have 2 World Series.
But no retired numbers?
No, I mean, not Tampa. Tampa has no World Series. But I'm saying as a state, like they have. Yeah, let's check in with the Tampa Bay Rays.
And how much did you bet?
We wagered 50.
You bet 50 on that one. And pizza rolls, how much did you bet, and what was your answer?
Oh, well, we really didn't have much of an idea on this one. We tried to pick a newer team. So we bet 100 points, and we went with the Rockies.
You bet 100 points, and you went with the Colorado Rockies. The answer is the only team that has no retired numbers, although since his death, Jose Fernandez's number 16 has not been worn. The only retired number by the Miami, Florida Marlins is number 42. So the answer is the Miami and Florida Marlins. So the game has come to an end, and here are the final scores. With 200 points, we got pizza rolls. And our clipboard captains of the week, receiving the coveted Doug Peterson Award, is Pitch Perfect with 670 points. Good job, guys.
Well done.
Well done, gents.
JJ, thank you for carrying my behind in the third quarter there. Really made the difference. Gentlemen, close game. I mean, it doesn't seem like it, like when you look at the score, but it was a close game. Like, it's just so much more fun, when the games are close throughout all the quarters. And it was definitely, I definitely felt like it was. Mason, always a worthy adversary. And Tim, a lot of fun having you on, dude. Really glad that you came on.
Mason or JJ, you guys got anything?
Matt, this was a much better game, if I do say so myself.
I concur.
Better?
Only
compared to my last one?
Yep. Only because I won. I don't think I won the last one. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was a great game. Everybody. Scott and I just made a great team. Tim, Mason, you guys did great.
All right, Tim. Hey, thanks for coming on. Thanks for always engaging with us and chatting with us and making time after the kids' Little League game to come on and stay with us after midnight. So you're awesome, buddy. I really appreciate your time tonight.
I appreciate it, boys. I'm always on the bench. Just call my number. I'm ready to play. Let me know.
All right, thanks for listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. And until next time, we'll keep the bench warm.
That ball hit high and deep. Stretch! Get on back there. They look up. You can put it on the board. Yes!
Into deep left center for Mitchell. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
That great music you're listening to is by Justin Nozick. Thanks to him for producing that music for us. You've been listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We are at Benchwarmers TP. The reason I love this list is because it's not something you can easily Google. This one took me a long time to put together.
Yeah, we don't Google our answers or anything.
I know you don't, but I
just in case any listeners think that the game is anything, I'm just putting it out there.
We'll just cut this out anyway. Yeah, so
sure.
Matt, please cut this. I know this is extremely riveting.